Hi folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and we are now in 1980, and we're going to go back to the newspaper strips by Russ Manning and Russ Helm, and we're going to go back and check out this new story called The Second Kessel Run. Now, this is a story that's collected in Classic Star Wars The Early Adventures number 6. It's probably going to be the best way for you to get this. But of course, as always, like what we've been doing, if you want to be like me, you can pick it up in the trade, Classic Star Wars The Early Adventures. This is a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in it. Of course, you can also get the Epic Collections by Marvel. They've been putting those out as of late. So this story ran from January 1st to February 5th of 1980. And that was in the LA Times. And basically, it's a story where there's this scientist named Ren Volz, and he created the Ionic Ring ship. And it's basically this satellite ship thing or something like that. And so he and his daughter are testing it, just doing their thing. The Empire sees what they're doing and goes, "Ooh, it works. Gimme, gimme, gimme." And basically, they then begin to use it to freeze all these different rebel bases, like literally freeze them. And then they turn it onto Kessel, which is actually the Volves', this is their home planet. And of course, we have to do something, right? Now, Kessel in this is not the Kessel that we, or at least is not shown as the Kessel that we know and love, right? Kessel is shown as a swampland and has a lot in common with, say, like Dagobah, or maybe Yavin 4 kind of a planet. It's not really, the spice mines that we know. Now, you might be saying, "Whoa, there's a contradiction right there, right?" Actually, no. It was later retconned in the Essential Atlas, which, by the way, side note, we've not really talked about guides too much, but this is a very, very good guide. I would highly encourage you if you're interested in planets, and there's tons of good stuff in here. Daniel Wallace and Jason Fry, they do a phenomenal job. So this is a great guide, but sorry, that's a side note. But anyways, the Essential Guide here basically retcons that and say that these events that happened in this basically were on a moon, another moon on Kessel, or a moon orbiting Kessel, and it's called Little Kessel. So they kind of then retcon that and say, so it's still in the Kessel system, but it's not the main planet of Kessel, right? The spice mines of Kessel. It's a moon called Little Kessel. So anyways, getting back to the story here. Volz's daughter, her name's Mira, she ends up on the Millennium Falcon. And basically, after telling Han and Chewie all that's gone down, they pick up Luke and the droids. And then they go off on an adventure to save her father and to stop the Empire from using the Ionic Ring ship thing. And so then we get to why it's called the Kessel Run, or the Second Kessel Run. Han says in this that he's making it for Jabba the Hutt. So this means that if we're going in chronological order, the story is probably going to be between Marvel Star Wars 28 and 37. And that's the period where Han, or basically Jabba, kind of forgave Han's debt. Again, this is a temporary forgiveness here. But so if we're going to go in chronological order, it would probably fit here. But of course, we're going through this in publication order, hence why we're talking about it right now. So again, I don't really want to go too much into it with stories, or with the story, because I don't want to give away spoilers. But is this an essential read? No, not really. With a lot of the newspaper strips, they're really not essential or quintessential to your Expanding Universe collection, nor are they quintessential to your Expanding Universe reading. Quite frankly, I think that they're fun stories. I've always said this too. I think they're a good time capsule. So you can kind of go back in time and see, what it was like when Star Wars was putting out this stuff. Back in the 70s and 80s when the original trilogy was being released. And again, I like the newspaper strips. I think they're fun reads. But again, are they, are these like, oh yeah, no, they're not. And again, there's another Kessel Run, right? And we know why they did it. They put it in there because, oh, Han referenced it in A New Hope, so we need to do another one. It's not really a retcon, or a continuity thing saying, oh, Han is making the Kessel Run again. Hey, you could, obviously he said, he's doing it for Jabba, but there's going to be several other Kessel Runs because, it's, that was such a notable line, I guess, from Han Solo, or some, line that people are like, oh, we could do something with. But honestly, it's not that bad of a story. So at the end of the day, I would say, you know what, if you're interested, hey, it might be worth your time. If you're a completist like me, definitely pick it up. But, if you're just looking for like, I'm just looking for main, EU stories, then this one's probably not going to be the one for you, and you can skip this one. So, folks, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library.